SongCast Radio. True music discovery.
You are streaming Spotlight, indie music from around the world, commercial-free and free to stream. Our featured artist is well-traveled but calls Sedona, Arizona home. He is an eclectic, dynamic, unique songwriter and performer, never comfortable staying in one genre. You'll get all kinds of great music out of his catalog. Rock, pop, world, blues, rhythm and blues. Very unique in a world where music pretty much sounds the same. Not in the case of Kamalino, Kilo Bravo. He is our featured artist here on Spotlight. Got some great interview conversation coming up, but first, let's set the tone with a great song. This is Looking at You, Kamalino, Kilo Bravo, featured artist on Spotlight. True music discovery on SongCast.
Looking at you and I see the sunshine shining in your eyes. Looking at you and I see the blue sky right behind your face. Looking at you and I see the flowers, the petals, the red, the yellow, and the blue. Looking at you and I see the rays flying high into the sky. Na na na. Your blue eyes right against the sky. When I look at you and I want to hold you and never let you go. Looking at you and I see the flowers, the petals, the red, the yellow, and the blue. Looking at you and I see the rays flying high up to the sky. Na na na. Look at you and I see the rainbow glowing in your eyes.
What a great track. Kamalino, Kilo Bravo, featured artist on Spotlight. That opens up the show, Looking at You. Why don't we do just that? Let's take a close look at Kamalino, Kilo Bravo. Find out about this indie artist from Sedona, Arizona. Here is our interview. More great music is on the way. It is Kamalino, Kilo Bravo, featured artist on Spotlight on SongCast.
My artist name is Kamalino. The group name that I chose is Kilo Bravo, which are my initials, basically. My music influence started when I was very young, but I've never learned music. I can't write music or read music. If you told me to play a C or an F or whatever, I wouldn't be able to know that. I play by ear. Everything that I've learned by ear. So it's just more like a sort of a musical intuition rather than, how some people have sheet music or sit down and write lyrics. It basically just comes out when I start strumming or finger picking the guitar, which has always been my instrument of choice that I started at 15. When I hear the sound of the chords or the melody, it just the words just come out. They're not planned out. They're just like coming out of the ether or from inside of you. You can never really figure out where it's coming from, and then you just like it and follow it.
It's amazing the complexity in your music can come from someone who really has no formal training. The music is really great.
Yeah, absolutely no formal training whatsoever. And it's always been a loss for me not to be able to read sheet music or write down a song that I just created by writing the little notes or whatever. I can't do that. I have to record it or keep playing it, otherwise I'll lose it.
Let's start off talking about the track Bones. Tell me a little bit about that one.
Bones actually I think it's the latest song that I've recorded and created. It came out when I moved to Miami temporarily for a few months. I had been on the sea for 4 years and 5 months, and being on the land, on solid ground, gave me the ability to just be more normal, like normal people. Because when you're out to sea, it's like if you're living in a satellite or you're in another planet, The way Bones came out was that I was in this apartment that I rented, and I had a stomachache that evening, and I just went and lied down on the bed and was starting to fall asleep. And then I started hearing the song, so I picked up my guitar. I tried to find chords that would go along with what I was hearing. And then the lyrics keep forming each time a little more, and your strumming gets better, and you just get into the groove of that song. And then it became the song of the month or of the next 3 months or so, where I just kept practicing it every day and making it, better and more sharp. It was about, being back on the land and feeling the freedom, that you have when you interact with people all around. Miami felt very free, like a place where you could just be yourself and not be judged, and there's all kinds of different, personality types and characters and nationalities, and it was just the ecstatic, to be back on land, for good, because in all those 4 years and 5 months out to sea, I perhaps stayed, in 2 or 3 hotels for not more than 2 or 3 nights, because the minute you leave the boat, all kinds of stuff starts happening, all kinds of problems on board. So, Bones is a powerful song because it's about freedom, and it's really also appealing to other people's sense of freedom, basically, saying, can't you see, all the freedom that we have now, which, in a few hundred years ago we didn't have, and you could do one thing or another and be stoned to death or hung or whatever. And now there's all this freedom, that people have to be able to express themselves without really being judged. I lived in New York for 25 years, and that's another city where you're really not judged. You could come out in your pajamas, and nobody would really look at you. They really wouldn't care. And that kind of freedom of being able to do whatever you want, whenever you want, not having any kind of authority or people telling you what to do, it's just a great feeling. So that song is about, Bones is about that.
Here it is, Bones, Kamalino, Kilo Bravo, featured artist on Spotlight, True Music Discovery, right here on SongCast.
SongCast. Free to stream anytime you crave great indie music. SongCast Radio.
Kamalino, Kilo, Bravo, featured artist on SongCast. That track called Bones. Also looking at you, kicking things off. If you like what you hear, buy tracks from Kamalino, Kilo, Bravo. Support this hardworking indie artist. Purchase tracks on Amazon, on Apple Music. Also stream on Spotify, on SoundCloud, on YouTube. Support hardworking indie artists like Kamalino, Kilo, Bravo. Let's continue with our interview. Do you play all the instruments yourself?
No, I play the guitar, and then I re-record the songs many times, doing the drums, doing the trumpets, all of the winds. I create all of the, melodies for. Since I can't write music, I have to re-record each time and be like, okay, now the violins are doing this, and I'll do it with either singing or whistling. Or like the trumpets, I'll imitate a trumpet, or I'll imitate a sax, and I've been doing that since basically I'm very, very young, and it was great to find a producer that could take that and actually write it, write the music, put it together with the actual real instrument. I tried to use keyboards and synthesizers for certain years, but piano has never been my thing. I've been able to do a little bit of trumpets, a little bit of violins, things like that, but it was never my thing. But I can sing them pretty perfectly, and then somebody who can write music can just write it down, and then we had actual live musicians play all that instead of it being sampled, synthesized sounds, which was the goal, was to have actually people's soul in the instrument and a real live performance from real musicians instead of somebody playing like trumpets on a keyboard.
How about the track Notebook? Anything to say about that one?
Notebook is a song that I've had as one of my favorites since pretty young. It was created in New York. That was a certain age when I used to go to a lot of blues and jazz clubs only, and only listen to jazz radio. And I've always been very fond of people like B.B. King and Bobby Bland and real blues players. That song is just a certain kind of mix of blues and a little bit jazzy, and it's some songs. I've got more than 450 songs, and some songs you play them once, you record them once, and then you forget them. You find them 10, 15 years later, and some songs you keep playing through the years. They're like a song that when you pick up your guitar, you just like keep going back to. Notebook's always been a song that I've been able to just like replay, remember all the lyrics, always had a good feeling about it.
Here it is, Notebook, Kamalino, Kilo, Bravo, featured artist on Spotlight, True Music Discovery on SongCast.
Talking about something like that.
Kamalino, Kilo Bravo, featured artist on Spotlight, eclectic, dynamic indie music from Sedona, Arizona. We are so proud to have artists like Kamalino, Kilo Bravo as part of our SongCast family. I highly recommend you support these amazing, hardworking indie artists. Especially nowadays, indie artists really need your support. Let's go back to our interview here on Spotlight with Kamalino, Kilo Bravo. Do you have a set process when you're writing songs that you write the music or the lyrics first?
No, never. I just pick up my guitar and my fingers will go to certain chords. I'll, mess around with different chords. I'll see what sounds good together. And then, I lock into a certain set of chords that feel good. And then the lyrics just come out almost like if they were coming out of a tunnel. Like you can almost like hear them in the back of your head. And then you just start singing. It's not really something that I can explain, like scientifically, like writing down lyrics on a piece of paper and having an orderly way or fashion of doing things. It just the chords produce the lyrics. They generate the lyrics. I could play the same set of chords at different times, different places, and have different lyrics come out because of where I am, how I feel.
Do you record these evolving demos yourself and then go into an actual studio to record, or do you record everything on your own?
No, I've always done everything, on my own, and whatever kind of recorder I've got, in the moment, whether it's a micro tape recorder because I don't have anything else, or I have 4-track recorder or a 16-track recorder. I used to record on Fostex, the reels, 16 tracks with a 16-track mixer. And no, I've always done everything on my own, never had anybody help me, so I had to learn everything. And then, what happened is a few years ago, I finally found a producer that was willing to produce me, and we just started to re-record everything in professional recording studios. And some of it, with the Mac recording studio in my own home, because, each time I upgraded, went from analog to digital, which was a really hard shift for me, for my brain to go into digital. And I lost a lot of time trying to adapt, but eventually I got it. And, been using the best software like everyone else for the Mac and things like that. A lot of work with the producer would be done by email. I would send tracks, he'd send them back to me. So, sending the lyrics by email, then by phone, and then getting together, either in his studios in New York, No Fat Studios. Greg Arnold, really, really great guy, has produced a lot of the greats that we know today. Has a lot of platinum records, and he's got so many on the walls they don't fit anymore, that they're just like stacked against the wall, like Diana Ross and people like that. But basically, he's been around since the '60s, and grew up in the same street as some of the the Steely Dan guys, Talking Heads. They basically had garages in the same blocks. And he helped a lot, to basically give me more confidence or belief that I could. I've always, believed in my music. I just never had the ability to get it out there because I've always recorded things myself. And sometimes you get like a little boombox, that's like really bad, and you record what you can, and you lose a lot of recordings like that also, with just regular tapes. And so it just became more and more important for me to always have some kind of a little recording studio device, whether it was 4 tracks or more, so that I could at least have clearer recordings. A lot is, being between 4 walls and just taking the time to do it all on your own, just because I didn't have a band or I didn't have people to help me with sound. Or so I really used to. I loved the Fostex reels. I was really proficient at recording that way, and when I got to be able to go from a Fostex 4-track recorder to a 16-track recorder, it was like like heaven to be able to play all these other instruments, sing them, whistle them, try to do them on the keyboard. And that's how my music built up, from just the voice and guitar. But I've always heard all these instruments. I mean, I'll put my head on the pillow and I'll hear an entire Philharmonic orchestra, and that just breaks my heart that I can't write music, because if I could, I would write some real mind-blowing classical pieces, because I hear every single instrument. So sometimes I'll grab a little microtape recorder in the middle of the night and start whistling the different the cymbals are doing this, the trumpets doing it, the violins are doing this, and that's the work to that's the hard part, is being to piece all that together.
You have a multi-track mind.
Yeah, and I've lost hundreds of songs that just play in my head, and I just was either too tired or didn't have any recorder, or just basically got lost. So yeah, when no, I'm just saying, when that happens, it really hurts, because you wish you could write music, because then you could just get up and write all that stuff on a sheet of paper. But it's not an ability that I have, because I've never been good with anything that's got to do with formulas, like chemistry and physics and all the little formulas. And music is kind of like that for me, when I see all these dots and people talk about all the different chords, and it's like another language, like Chinese.
I like the freestyle structure of your music. You can tell that it's kind of just freestyle in the way that it's not real regimented, or not segmented over a lot of time. It just has that real natural kind of spontaneous flow to it.
Yeah, a lot of my songs were more like kind of in the old days, like the LPs, where you'd have a song on a whole side of a record. 11 minutes, 16-minute songs, so it was really hard to reduce them to radio format, because it's like a story. You got a whole, 22 pages, 11 minutes of the story, and then the producer was like, well, they got to fit within like a sort of a 4-minute format. So you got to take out all these lyrics that are part of the story, and now the song doesn't, it's not full like it was, It's like a shortened version, but that that had to happen.
Let's move on to the tune "Nothing." Can you talk about that one?
Yeah, Nothing was sort of a sad song when you're growing up, and you're looking at some woman that you want, but you can't access her, you can't talk to her. Can't get near her, and then you get some other girlfriend type that's not really that kind of woman, and they're really not fitting. They're really not fulfilling what you're expecting out of companionship, love, all that, and so to just kind of that song was a lot of songs have changed through time, so that song started as a flamenco-ish kind of song. That's how it was played and written and sung. So the beginning still has that little bit of a flamenco in it, because of my upbringing, in Spain, being affected by people like Paco de Lucia and Aldi Meola, John McLaughlin, and many other Spanish artists that people don't know the name of. It was a song that started as a flamenco, and it was about that feeling of emptiness, that you just get nothing, and you try to get that kind of quality love that you're looking for, and you get nothing, or You get a woman that's giving you not enough in return for the amount of attention, love, and tenderness that you're giving her because of being maybe too materialistic or something. So that's what that song's about. It's about that lonely feeling that, I don't know, I'm sure women have that too, but that men have when you're just kind of walking around the street and, wishing you had like a great girlfriend, and you look at some women go by and you're like, well, I wish I had a girlfriend like that. And so I think it's a sort of like probably a feeling that a lot of guys have growing up all over the world, So it's a beautiful song because of the depth, of like you can feel the sadness, which I have a lot of happy songs and I have a lot of sad songs. When I was like younger, I wrote mostly sad songs, and then as I got to a certain age, I was like, I'm getting tired of all this sad stuff. I would really want to write happy songs, and it just started shifting into more positive lyrics and feelings. And but such sad songs have their power too, There is one song that's one of my favorites of maybe all my songs. It's extremely sad. My producer will not work on it, and he's like, it's just too depressing. And I'm like, so what? There's a lot of songs that people have sung that are depressing because they were feeling really sad at the moment. They were very famous songs. They're great songs because we all feel sad, so it can't always be happy. So maybe one day that song will be, I'll convince him to work on it because we keep working on other songs. And that's like my pearl.
Let's get into the track we were just talking about called Nothing. Kamalino, Kilo Bravo. A unique songwriter and performer from Sedona, Arizona, and the featured artist right here on Spotlight. True music discovery, always happening right here at SongCast.
I'd love to have that kind of woman, but instead I've got nothing. I'd love to have that kind of woman, but instead I've got nothing. Got nothing, diamond rings, all kind of things, but instead I get nothing, 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 nothing. I see her walking near to me, yeah, yeah. I'd have that kind of women, but instead I've got nothing, 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 nothing. I a little bit of tenderness, and all I've got is nothing, nothing, nothing. Oh, I'd like to have my perfect woman, but instead I got nothing, nothing.
Tasty guitar work from Kamalino, Kilo Bravo. Featured artist on Spotlight. What a great track that is. That's called Nothing. Before that, we heard Notebook, Bones, and Looking at You. 4 amazing, unique, individual tracks from Kamalino, Kilo Bravo. These hardworking indie artists really deserve your support, especially in today's day and age where indie artists are really struggling. Buy tracks from Kamalino, Kilo Bravo. Pick them up on Amazon, on Apple Music, stream on Spotify, on YouTube, on SoundCloud. Tell your friends about Kamalino, Kilo Bravo, and tell your friends about the treasure trove of indie music, always commercial free and free to stream exclusively on SongCast.
Listen, explore, discover indie music from around the world. Spotlight features all types of indie music: hip-hop, rock, pop, electronic, country, blues, jazz, and more. Spotlight. Listen to thousands of hours of archived indie music anytime, anywhere. Experience Spotlight, the best indie music from around the world. Commercial free and free to stream. SongCast Radio. True music discovery.